Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and they're probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome again to Ron's Opinion Don't Matter. Hopefully, y'all having a blessed, wonderful day. Hopefully, all is well. And hopefully, you have a relationship with Jesus Christ is outside anything and everything I talk about. That is the number one thing that I stand on 100. And as it relates to the world as a whole, God is good. God is great. And if you don't know him, get to know him. But, you know, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Of course, y'all know I always try to get into a little bit of a conversation about the stock market. It popped up this morning, went up a little bit. Crypto jumped. Bitcoin. Where's Bitcoin at? Just 71,000 right now. Of course, we got the war going on, and that is what it is. You know what I mean, I am not a fan of war at all, but I understand it is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like people be like, oh well, this and that and that. I said, listen, as much as I don't like war, I understand 100% that sometimes it's necessary. I don't know all the ins and outs or why, but I understand that, let me put it to you like this. This is just a thought in my head. Again, I'm gonna call Trump the dictator eliminator. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna have to call Trump the dictator eliminator because that's pretty much what he's been doing. And see, these people that be talking about this and the Muslim countries and stuff, the part that they never ever talk about in the mainstream media is what these countries are doing to the people, the citizens of their country. They are actually functioning like dictators. My point is, if the people in their country protest the leadership, they're executing publicly. But again, they don't want to hear that part. Now we are in America, and I'm going somewhere with this, and I would highly recommend that this Sunday. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not Sunday, but this Friday when we do Fire on Fridays, please come in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But when we do Fire on Friday, this Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as it relates to America and the Second Amendment, the Constitution, and things of that nature, I really suggest y'all to come in and really, really, really pay attention and maybe possibly get something out of it. You know what I mean? But when we start talking about these type of issues, and of course, once war break out, stock market takes a hit. Again, I say this repeatedly. These are the times that I buy. I'm not scared of it. It doesn't make me panic. It makes me excited. These are the moments that I get excited about the stock market and investing. Some people may say, oh, well, the value of your money going down. I know it's going down. That's why I want it to. I don't want to pay more money for the stuff that I buy. I want to pay less money. I want to buy more at the cheapest price possible and hope to get it back. Now, here's the thing. I don't buy stock for the sake of trying to sell it for a few dollars. I buy stock for the very reason is so that I can up my get. I do it based on an income, and that's my biggest motive behind it is the income. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Them KGS is 7391. God bless you. God bless you, man. God bless you. God bless you. Oh man. Oh man. Hey, look, I know you're a firearm. You're a gunhead like I am, and at some point we're going to be opening up Fire on Fridays to guests to come in and kind of get like we did with Justice Run on Diesel Man. So if you ever, for those people that are really into the gun industry the right way, I ain't talking about that wicked street stuff. That's not where I'm at, and I don't encourage that. But for those that are on the firearm, that are really into the firearm the right way, Constitution stuff like that, and if you want to, at some point or another, we'll bring you in for a little bit so you can chat, kind of give us, and then even when it comes as it relates to your type of firearm that you like, that you prefer, and stuff like that. But that street stuff, I'm not into it, and I don't want that part. I'm not bringing that part to my show. Save it for somebody else. But if you want to talk about the right way about things, I'm open to that. But all that other stuff, I'm not feeling, and I don't subscribe to that. But as it relates to the stock market, again, back to what I was saying originally is war breakout, stock market takes a hit, take a dip. I kept telling people that, even with crypto, I say it's all a scare tactic. They're scared the ones out of there. Now, let's say somebody, when they saw Bitcoin hit the 63,000, right? Let's just say for whatever money you had, you dumped that little bit of money into Bitcoin at 63,000. Now, Bitcoin right now is sitting at 71,000. If somebody has some money, 63,000, because it dropped down to that price. And right now, Bitcoin's at 71,000. Somebody making some money somewhere. Somebody, now it ain't me. I mean, I'm up in Bitcoin right now, but I don't have that much money to put in Bitcoin. But I'm just saying, somebody did, and this is where I keep saying, scare tactics to get you there while they doing this. And then we always got the immature. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it very, very much. Um, it amazes me how the immatures come in here, the children. I mean, the 2-year-olds. I mean, mine say don't. I don't. I try my best to keep these children out of here. Not deleting and banning them, but I'm talking about my channel says not for children. When I click not for children, children shouldn't be here. Clearly, YouTube ain't doing his job, because when you have somebody I love to be used as a human toilet, that tells me that you're a 2-year. I hope so, because if you're a grown person acting like that, you need help, mental help, real talk. You need mental help. Anyway, I gotta go to commercial. I'm gonna have to pause for the calls. I'll be right back in a few seconds.
Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.
Sorry about that, everybody. That was important. I had to take basically take a phone call, but it is what it is. But yeah, I feel you. What's going on? Yeah, but as it relates to that, and back to the stock market issue, I'm sorry, y'all had to get that was kind of important or whatever, and I had to take that phone call, so that's why I had to kind of pull out the way. But it is what it is. I think sometimes things are just unpredictable. But the reason why I say y'all should check out Fire on Fridays, and because we're going to deep dive into the conversation around the Second Amendment. Um, I sent some stuff to my brother Jay, and I'm still looking at some other stuff um, to see to get his. I sent him some video to get his perspective, so he can kind of cipher through it. I can kind of cipher through it, and that way he gives his own perspective. I give my own perspective, and we'll go from there. But like I said, but the thing that I'm really, really, really concerned about is, and I know people don't take these things lightly, is these sleeper cells. And the stock market conversation is one thing, political conversation is another, but this one right here is one that I wanted to talk about today is sleeper cells. Um, People that are in this country with bad intentions, and I'm gonna probably analyze this, talk about this again when we get into Fire on Fridays. But I want to talk about this now because I think this is important. As it relates to sleeper cells, I talk a lot to my family about having access to firearms, having access to the best weapons possible. I talk a lot about it. But I think a lot of times, not just my own family members, I'm talking about American citizens in general. I think we have become to the point where we're too complacent with the way how safe our country is to some extent. I mean, stuff happens, but I think a lot of times we don't realize what's really sitting and laying in the background. Now, the reason why I say that is because there was video I was watching where somebody clipped a little bit of the short, but um, Muslim person started shooting up everybody, trying to shoot up people, injured 17 people, killed 3, I think, whatever. And again, you let millions and millions of people into a country, you open the door for this. And I know that there are people in my lives sometimes that come in here and they so gun ho about protecting illegal immigrants. This is the reason why I always stuck to my guns with this, and I was never going to let nobody sway my thought on illegal immigration, illegal immigrants coming over here. One thing I know for sure is this: if someone doesn't respect the rules at your door, they're not going to respect the rules when they're in your house. This is my point. Common sense. This is not a political conversation. This is factual. This is just this is the behavior of human beings. If someone doesn't respect your home at the door, they're not going to respect your home when you let them in. Here's my point. If somebody walk to your door and they don't respect that, you knock or ring the bell, person answers the door, how you doing? If it's somebody oh, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Come on in. That's respecting your home. That's what that is. It's respecting your home. But if I knock on somebody, if I go just barge into someone's home and don't respect their door, respect it at the door, once I'm in their home, I'm going to treat it like I'm going to disrespect everything in their house, because that's what human nature is. Because they don't respect it at the door. That means that something is off with you, because you don't have enough sense in your head to respect it at the door. And this is the reason why the United States of America, just like every country out there, has borders, has rules, and people have different cultures. And this is why they have borders, and this is why they have rules, because someone else might have a culture that you don't see that's conducive for. Here's my point. I give y'all a prime example on some of these Muslim countries. These men are allowed to marry 13-year-old kids, girls. Grown men in other countries, in their culture, are allowed to get married to a girl that's 13 years old. And you're going to tell me that in America they will be okay with that? Because in America, the age range is around 6. Most states is 18, but there are some states in America that's 16. I believe. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe that there's some states in America, 16 might be the lowest age, and some of them are 18. Most of them are 18. But again, in other countries, 13 years old, 12 years old, they can even actually go and petition the court for this. That's their culture. So imagine you have a daughter in their culture and that happens. You're not going to be okay with that. This is the reason why you just can't let anybody in your country. It's the reason why you have to have rules. Now, in one house, some people have rules like, come to my house, you got to take your shoes off, right? That's it. That's their rule. Come in my house. I don't like people walking around the house with my shoes, whatever. I don't want my carpet to get destroyed, my floors, whatever the case may be. Come in the house, they want your shoes off. Bam. You walking around their house in socks. That's their rules to their home. If you don't like the rules, guess what you do? You don't go over it. That's it. That's simple common sense. That is not nothing complicated about that. That's common sense. That's simple common sense. If you don't agree with the rules, you don't go over it. But you don't go in somebody else's house and start dictating them. You start saying how you want the rules to be in their house. At that point, you become disrespectful and they need to put you out. This is what I mean by allowing people to come from other countries into America and trying to change America into what their country is. If it was that great, why you didn't do it in your own country? Why you didn't stay in your own country? Why is it that y'all all feel the need to come over here and try to change the way we do stuff? I don't want to change America to some other country. I don't. Now, I'm not saying America is perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But I see what I see in other countries. I don't want no parts of it. That's the reason why I fight. That's why I have a problem with it. Now, do I have a problem with immigration? No. I have a problem with illegal immigration, and I got a problem with just letting people come over here and not checking and vetting. Here's the thing. If you want to come to America and you want to adopt the way America is, and you vet it well enough, I'm good with that. This is what I mean by that. But if you want to come to America and turn America into whatever it is you want to turn it into, I'm not good with it. No, that's all right. I got your mom instead. If y'all come here and y'all say immature, silly stuff, I'm gonna give you a smoke right back. I got enough oil for your mom. So now I'm not coming to your house. I already been there. I already done it. So ask her about it. She'll tell you. Anyway, back to the seriousness. Slander man is dead. You still support Trump starting a war with no goals? I thought he said no wars. Yeah, I do support. Yep, I do. And I'm explaining to you why I support it. Because when I see over in Iran and those countries, them executing people in the middle of the street because they're trying to protest their government, then yeah, I'm okay with it. See, my thing is this: it's one thing to say, again, it's one thing to be a negotiator to not want wars, because I don't want war. But I understand as a human being, sometimes it is what you got to do no matter what. And here's my point to that. I've had personal situations where I've tried to bring peace and peace was not working. And this is why I know that most people that say this stuff never really give this stuff a real conscious thought. They never give it a real conscious thought. And this is why I know that. Because if they was the person dealing with somebody they tried to make peace with somebody. See, I grew up in the hood. So I understand this conflict very, very, very well. I understand this concept very well. You try to negotiate peace with somebody and it does not work. You go back and you negotiate peace again and it does not work. And every time you negotiate peace, they say, okay, we have peace, but then they keep violating the peace and then they still trying to torment you or someone else that you care about or innocent victims. And you just sit back and you keep letting it happen. You know you have the power to put a stop to it. You know that God had put you in a position a power to put a stop to it, and you sit back as a person and let it continue, you can't say that you're a good person. You can't. It's just like if you sat back and you see a man beating up on a woman a defenseless woman, and you as a man know you have the strength to put a stop to it, and you don't, then you are a coward and you're not a man. You don't have man in you. Why? Because you have the power and the strength to put a stop to it, and you don't. That's common sense. That's not political. So if you're going to sit there and talk about war, why y'all never talk about the fact that they're executing people publicly when they go and protest against the government, but when you're an American and you protest against the government, nothing happens to you unless you get interfere with law enforcement. But y'all never bring that stuff up. This is how I know y'all have no clue what y'all be talking about. ICE is not harassing American citizens, and you don't know what you're talking about. I know y'all come here to get the argument y'all be trying to look for, but ICE is not harassing American citizens. ICE is out there getting rid of illegal immigrants. And again, y'all never talk about why is ICE at where they're at. So you okay, slander man, you're okay with illegal immigrants raping 13-year-old American girls? You okay with that? You want ICE out the way so these illegal immigrants can keep raping American girls. You okay with the illegal immigrants killing that woman and throwing her off a bridge? Because these are the people that ICE has been going after. Y'all never ask the question of why they there. Y'all just want to interfere with them being there. Also, the Democrat Party can try to keep people in the voting system illegally. That's all it's about. They can care less. That's just all they're trying to do is stack the deck. That's it. And it's not working because they're getting thrust up out of here. Well over 2 million people have already been deported, mostly self-deported, but a lot of them haven't been. 600,000 illegal immigrants out of the country in 1 year. Over 1 point something million self-deported. So the numbers are going great. I still want more, but they're going great. Are we on the path for World War III? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. But here's what I would say. This is the reason why, and I want y'all to understand this because this is the reason why I think y'all should really come in on fire on this Friday, because it's going to be fire. But the reason why, when you ask the question, do you think we're going to be World War III? There's always a possibility. And this is the reason why I tell people to make sure you have access to the best weapons possible. And this is the reason why you should never let politicians tell you. Now, I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. That's why you should not let politicians tell you what you can and cannot have as it relates to defending yourself against government tyranny. Because if the government right now is out there dealing with wars abroad, who's to say that war is not in your house already? And you're not self-prepared, because all of these illegal immigrants, and a lot of them are from these Muslim countries right here in America. Who you think gonna be there in the time that these people decide to do the stuff that they're gonna decide to do? The police ain't gonna be there. Law enforcement ain't gonna be there, and neither are these politicians that let them all in here. You're gonna have to deal with that face on face. But they the same ones that be telling you don't need 10 rounds in your gun clip. You don't need 15 rounds. You don't need 30 rounds. You don't need automatic weapons. You don't need this and you don't need that. But the very same people that all these illegal criminal immigrants in here and gave them the space in the room right here in your country to deal with you. So let's just say they don't like what they see in Iran. They're already here. So now they out here possibly looking for victims to get back at America. And you got to walk around and defend yourself with a revolver because the politicians told you don't need the other stuff. So make it make sense. Make it make sense. You keep talking about with Trump, but y'all still haven't given me no evidence of what y'all keep trying to say out of your head Trump did. See, it's one thing to say he did it. Until I see some proof, I'm going to have to go where he hasn't. Because I'm going to tell you something. If Trump was touching little kids, the Democrats would have been brought that one out. They would have used that firsthand. That would have been their first move. That would have been Democrats' first move. If they had any type of dirt, all of the stuff that they were trying to do to that man, anything that they would have had that they could have used to dismantle Trump, because the Democrats are not concerned about American citizens. Their whole campaign, 100%, is their hate for Trump. That's it. They don't have nothing to offer. They just keep hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. They have nothing to offer beyond that. And I agree with you. And I agree with you, 4938. I've seen a lot of people let their intelligence, and it doesn't matter what side of the argument you're on. Some things are just common sense. Yeah, and I agree. Like, here's the thing to that. This is why I say, if you would have talked to me when Trump first won, now I want y'all to hear this, and this is the journey I'm trying to explain to y'all. I did not vote for Trump in his first term. I didn't. I voted for Hillary. Listen to what I'm trying to tell y'all. I voted for Hillary because me also didn't know who Trump was, really didn't care one way or the other. I voted for Hillary because I'm like, she's been there for a while, that's it, and that, and that. Really, honestly, my reason for voting for Hillary because I wanted her husband back in there. So I was like, I'll get Bill Clinton by default, because when Bill Clinton was president, financially, I was doing pretty good. So that's my reasoning. And this is why I say people are stuck and they can't change their mind. Trump get in office. I remember the day he won. Everybody's like, what that mean? I'm like, he won. What do you mean what it means? It is what it is. I was not a fan of Trump, non-fan of Trump, hater of Trump. I had no stance one way or the other. He won. It is what it is. That was where I was at. I'm saying it is what it is. I'm going to go on my life. That's what it is. Then he got in office and he started, I thought he was taking credit for stuff a little too early. And this is just me. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, you just got there, bro. You can't just keep taking credit for stuff and you just got there. This is me. 2 years later, him being in office the first term, and I'm like, okay, now I got to give you some credit because you're doing actually a fairly decent job. Still not strong into politics, but I'm like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, when he got out of office and Democrats got back in office and they start doing the dumb stuff, that's why I went full course and voted for Trump, because the pain that the Democratic politicians, Joe Biden and all of them, the mess that they created, made me go further, and deep dive into this. And this is why I went full steam ahead with Trump on the next term. Because I wanted to make sure that I did my part to make sure that they did not get back in office because they didn't know what they were doing. And it opened up a lot. It opened my mind to a lot of stuff to realize that they did not give a darn about America. All the Democrats was concerned about is enriching all of their party members, and that was it. It didn't care what here's what y'all don't miss: enriching their party members, and that's it. It doesn't matter if the party member are white. It doesn't matter if the party member are black. It doesn't matter anything with that. As long as you were a part of the Democratic Party, they were in line with trying to enrich themselves and their party. They didn't care 2 cents how many Americans it destroyed, hurt, and financially bankrupt. That was not the plan. The plan was 100% to enrich their Democratic Party, and that's what they do. That's why they vote the way they vote, and that's why they do the stuff that they do, and that's why you clearly see when Trump asked the question about putting American citizens first, they did not stand up because they did not want to stand, because they care less about American citizens and only about their party. You've seen the unification of their party right there when they refused to stand. That right there, if that did not tell you anything, that told you right there that they don't care about nothing else but aligning and enriching their party and their party alone. I'm not saying Republicans don't have dirt, but I'm just telling you the obvious one. That's where you saw. I don't follow any party. I have a preference, but I don't critique because none of us in any way are these people person. And that's my point. Actually, he's making a good point. I don't know if you're a male or female, but he's making a good point. I don't know none of these people personally. The only way I can decide this fact is the number one, Find out as much about your character as I can find out, good and bad. Not just good, good and bad. How much of your character that I can find out. Make sure I don't listen to noise and get something of solid. Look for consistencies in your character and in your integrity. Those are the things that I look for. You get what I'm saying? And then I look for where the media is lying and where the truth lies. What's up, Out the Pit? What's up, Mark? What's going on? What's going on, Joyce? Yes. Joyce, God bless you. God bless you. Make sure y'all please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you very much. What's up, my brother Out the Pit? I'm telling y'all like this. Here's my point to that. And I get and when you pay close attention, you can win in this if you pay close attention. I kept telling y'all that I was going ham on crypto. And I'm not saying crypto is going to go skyrocketing right now because I don't know. But y'all see what I kept saying. They spooking you so that they can take advantage of it. They spooking you so they can take advantage of it. Again, I keep trying to tell y'all, the noise is what they're doing. It's the distractions. When I voted for Trump this time, it was a 100% and because I seen that they kept lying about him being racist, right? And this is where I tested. This is nobody convincing me of anything. This is an individual thing that I decided to do. The first story I came across was Jennifer Hudson. When she was when she was on American Idol, something happened to her family, and they went and they murdered some of her family members. When Trump stepped in and put her up in Trump Towers for almost 9 months, rent-free, no charge, to protect her family, and she's a black person, that was the first story I came across, and I said, why don't nobody talk about this? Then I went back to Jesse Jackson's campaign when he was running for president. Trump stepped out the way because him and Jesse Jackson was friends, and he supported Jesse Jackson then. Then I kept going back. I said, okay, cool. Then I listened to Mike Tyson. I remember when Michael Jackson was going to court and they was trying to destroy Michael Jackson. Trump was right there with him. He stood with him. He stood with Mike Tyson. And I'm saying, y'all not making sense. All of this reputation amongst the people that y'all keep saying he's a racist against, you're not even asking. Now at that point, I have dismantled everything that y'all said because he actually has done the very opposite. All of these people he's loaned money to, gave them their freedom of their debt, all of this stuff that he was doing. Now I'm not even getting into current. I'm talking about historically wise. And this is my thing. If you want to vote whatever way you want to go, that's your choice. I did not even want to vote for half the Republicans that I voted for, but I had to try to give him the job that he was doing. And this is why I say this had nothing to do with Trump. It has everything to do with character and integrity. And when he started talking about keeping men out of women's sports, how in the world could you not get on board with that? If you're a father, first of all, y'all should have been pissed when the other man said that was okay. And yet every woman in America should have said, I will never vote Democrat again in America when Obama decided that he wanted to put all women in harm's way by allowing pedophile men to go into bathrooms with them, starting in the school, so they can be trained on how to do it in school. So that when they become adults, they can victimize more women because they have the government, the United States president standing behind them. Make that make sense. I think it was wrong for Congress and Senate to do what they did. And I agree. I think what they did to Martha Stewart was a disgrace. And I agree 100%. Because as much as Congress is doing more dirt than Martha Stewart have ever done, most of the people that are in Congress right now should be sitting up in jail for the level of corruption that they have done. But they're not going to jail. That's my point, and I agree with you. Jennifer Hudson should have been one of the main people campaigning for Trump. And you know what? Out the pit, I have to agree with you, but I'm going to tell you something. She also had to be smart enough to protect her career. And my thing is this. This is what I did. This is one of the things that I did like about Trump. With all of the stories that I kept hearing about him, he never really wanted people to know. Because when you're a person that loves to do good stuff to people, you really don't like it being publicized. So when they ask these questions, because the one guy that interviewed him, I came across 300 things that you've done for people, and they said, I just stopped there. And he said, those are things, and Trump said, those are things that are near and dear to my heart. I love to help people. Now, my thing is this. If Trump was, this is one that I had to think of on my own. This don't mean I have evidence. I don't have all of this proof, right? This is just a thought that I had the other day. I said, Trump got a business down in Mar-a-Lago, right? Trump has been in real estate forever. Trump has Trump Towers. He also has, he's had casinos, and he has this, right? Here's my point. I'm quite sure across the board, Trump has probably had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that has worked for him at one point or another in the industry, right? Why don't we find a massive amount of them complaining about why when they work for Trump? I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. The very people that work on for Trump and Trump Towers and all this other stuff, we should see a massive amount of them complaining about when they worked for Trump, how bad it was. Meanwhile, I came across hundreds of stories of people that worked for Trump that said that every time he came around, he shook everybody's hand, got to know them personally, and was hand them 100. It was very common for him to hand them money in cash form. So why is it these liberals are out there campaigning against Trump and outside of Trump Tower, but why the workers ain't doing that? All of this business this man been done over the years, we probably should have found hundreds of thousands of people that worked for Trump, and they should have came across massive amount of stories, but yet nothing. Very, 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 very little. Mark said he hoped Trump does away with the IRS. And that's a tough one there. But I agree. Mark, honestly, I agree. I really don't think the IRS is necessary. Um, I personally think, this is just my personal thought of, I think the United States of America don't need the government to dish out help for other people. I think most Americans have good enough hearts in themselves to see that other people need help and help themselves. The government shouldn't be snatching it out of your paycheck and go help other Americans. We could do that for each other in our own communities. We need no help from government with that. Because what happens when government is involved, by the time it actually gets to the point of trying to help somebody, the money is so funneled by whole people that don't need the help that by the time it hits the level of trying to help somebody, is nothing there. And the people that it really needs to help rarely get anything to help. Why? Because the people that has the organizations, all of them walking around with six-figure paychecks. The case in point is the Clinton Foundation, and I keep using this one. I find nobody that's helped from the Clinton Foundation, but yet I find the Clintons and their family are multi-millionaires, and they spent millions of dollars when their daughter got married. But I don't see none of that help actually helping people. So how is it a world-renowned foundation when nobody I ever came across ever been helped by them? Is my point. We can say the same thing about a lot of businessmen who have employees. Exactly. And my point is this: I'm not saying that Trump don't have nobody complaining, because there probably is somebody. But for the amount of business that this man has been in, and for the longest he's been in business, it should be extremely a whole lot. Because I'm quite sure people got fired and whatever. But that doesn't mean he's a good man. But like I'm just saying in general, it doesn't. Nothing says it. That don't mean he's a good man, but it does speak to his character, and it does speak to his integrity. It does. It speaks to that. That right there does speak to that. Because when I was listening to the one lady that did the video, did a video when she was about to go kill herself, and she happened to be walking past an event that Trump was at. And I guess he got a glance, so he looked at her face or read something that whatever. And he was amongst his group of people, and he stopped what he was doing to go communicate to the lady. And he said, I don't know, miss, what's going on with you. He said, but you look like you about to do something you shouldn't do. And they went and sat down. He went and sat down with her for a while, and she said he prayed for her. And as he prayed for her, he put $100 in her hand. And he was like, I don't know what you plan on doing, but basically, and what she said was, she said she was on something happened in her life that was so dread that she was literally on her way to go kill herself. And he talked her out of it. And he didn't even know that when she walked up, when she was walking past him, that was what she was about to do. And he took the time out in an event that was going on, some type of event that was to try to save, to have a conversation with her, because he saw the look on her face and it didn't look good. But again, I guarantee you that they will never tell that story. I had to go find that stuff. That speaks volume, because most people that are rich and wealthy see somebody walking by that looks like a common person. They're not going to stop what they're doing around their rich, wealthy friends to have a conversation with a common person, because they look like they're about to do something that they shouldn't do. So this is why I keep saying, I'm not saying that he's perfect, not by any means, but these are the stories that I kept coming across. I said, you know what, no, I'm good. That's exactly what I'm going to vote for, because he's a common person. And I can tell by the way he talked, because he talked common. He don't talk like he don't use all these fancy words, this, that, and that. He talks common. But you don't have to like the person to agree with the policy. Get right for Jesus, for he's the Son of God. He died on the cross for our sins and rose 3 days later, save us all from hell, from fire, only if you put your trust in the faith in him and accept. Steve Fox 1407, I 100%, 1000% agree with that message. You're absolutely 100% correct. Without Christ, we are nothing. That's my personal opinion. That's where I stand on, and I love what God has done for me on the cross. I thank God. I accepted him a long time ago. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I accepted Christ in my heart a long time ago. And there is one thing in my life that has been there for me from day one, 100%. And that's just the earthly aspect of it. The fact that I've obtained eternal life through Jesus Christ, that's the long-term benefit. So I got the short-term benefit of him always being with me on earth, and I got the long-term benefit that I gave my life to Christ, and I have inherited eternal life because of that reason. No girl wants to train at 4 a.m. to compete with boys who rank 400th and compete for her first place spot. In some sports, could easily get hurt or worse. And I agree 100%, Joyce, that that's the reason why you don't have boys competing with girls. Listen, they learn early in the game that boys have a physical advantage to some extent in certain sports. Not every sport, but in some sports, there is a physical advantage that you just naturally have as a boy. And if any woman, kid you not, if any woman has a child, right, a boy, a grown woman that has a boy, and let's just say that boy got about 12 to 13 years old, and he start playing with you, and you start to feel the physical strength of that boy, and you realize that, oh, yeah, most women be like, no, you're going to deal with him. They go to the father and say, I need you to deal with him. Why? Because internally they realize that the boy is getting too strong. If they're honest. If they're honest with themselves, they see it and they know it. That's why it's very, very important that their father be involved, because their boy going to get too strong. And sometimes he needs discipline, and he needs stronger discipline, which is usually the father, other than the mother. And in most cases, if they're honest, they know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a mechanism in most boys, if it's still there, for most boys, is that they don't want to hurt their mother. They don't want nobody hurting their mother, and they don't want to hurt their mother. And there's a mechanism in most men that if it's there and it's where it's supposed to be, you don't want to hurt women. Like physically, you don't want to hurt women. That's why if women was in men's sports, let's say football, women would probably win the game. You know why women would win the game? Not because they could beat men in sports. because most of the men gonna say, I'm not gonna compete with that. They're gonna soften their abilities and they just gonna say, no, I'd rather let them win than be the man that ends up hurting somebody. That's how that's gonna play out. They would rather be the man that let them win than that's a real man's gonna do. He's a real good man gonna say, nah, I'd rather let them win than be the man that had to live with the fact that I ran a woman over and she's literally hurt and probably gonna lose her life because I know I'm way too strong for them. So they'd rather let them win. Say, no, let them win. It's okay. Because they already know that if they play, they know the women is not gonna win that. So it's best to just let them win. Why? Because they get more pleasure out of watching the women have fun and think they win when they know for sure that they'll never win. But that's being honest. Most people ain't gonna be that honest, but that's what that is. That's being honest. I know I would. I am. I'm had to compete in a physical sport, and I see women. I'm not doing that. Crazy? No, no. At that point, even if we go tackle them, you're gonna be like, yeah, I got you. You're gonna be soft how you put them down. You're just gonna change your dynamics because you already know if I play sports and football the way I played against men, nah, I ain't doing it. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very much. I really, really do. Good conversation. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, Tyreville 4938, appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button. Joyce Ort, appreciate you. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. And there's a lot of stuff that I really wanted to get into, but I'm gonna save a lot of the gun talk and Second Amendment talk for Fire on Fridays. We have a video that I came across, and I have to cipher through a lot of the information. Hopefully, I get time to really dig deep into it. But life sometimes is so complicated that you can't. But I say this in all sincerity, is and I know today I'm all over the place. It is what it is. But I say this with all sincerity: keep your eye on what's going on around you in America. Don't just walk around with tunnel vision. Make sure you're alert. Make sure you're watching everything that's going on as you're out in the bay. And I'm not saying don't live in fear and don't be afraid to live your life. No, go live your life. Just make sure you're paying attention to body language, eyes, people's eyes, what's going on around you. When the crowd gets a little bit heavy, make sure you're paying attention. Real talk, because these people are in this country. Whether y'all like it or not, they're in here. We don't know who they are, and we don't know where they're at. This is why I suggest that if you're an American citizen, take full advantage of your Second Amendment rights. Need I remind you that the government shouldn't have nothing to do with it, but I say, listen, make sure you're good. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you're good. And I'm not saying that you just have to go out there and buy a bunch of firearms and a bunch of ammo. Maybe you should, whatever. But I'm saying weapons. May have something. Don't be out there cold, naked with nothing, and something happened and you wish you had something in the moment. The police is not going to be there. Even if they was a minute away. You know how much damage a person can do to people in 1 minute? If you don't think so, this is what I would suggest you do. Test it there. As you're walking down the street or when you're in a situation, put the stopwatch on, put 1 minute, right? And just think how much stuff you can do in 1 minute to people that's around you. I'm not saying go do it. I'm just thinking. And that'll give you a good idea how much damage someone else can do that will actually act on that. Let's just say you're in the mall. And you got 60 seconds to do as much as you're going to do in the mall. And you see all the people around you and say, oh, I could do this, do that. How much damage you could do in 60 seconds to people before people realize what's happening and someone try to defend themselves against you. And this is how long that 1 minute, which don't seem long, becomes an eternity when something bad has happened. And this is why I say with all sincerity, make sure you're good. And y'all understand what Ron's opinion don't matter mean when I say make sure you're good. Make sure you're good with God and make sure you're good with guns. I'm dead serious. I'm laughing because it sounds funny, but this is real talk. Make sure you're good with God and make sure you're good with guns. Those two. Hey, look. The weapons of our warfare are not corny. I get that part. And that's 100% true. But that's why you got God to fight the battles that you can't see. And that's why we got guns to fight the battles that you can see. So think about it. The stuff you can't see, God fight the battles. The stuff you can see, God is still with you. And he gave you the tools for you to fight those battles too. So make sure you got God and make sure you got guns. God first, number one. And that way he can teach you and guide you. And if you ever had to get to the point where you use a knife, firearm, or whatever case may be, hopefully never in life you ever have to do that. And I mean, because I really don't want to see anybody lose their life. But we know reality is you live in a society that anything can happen at any moment. And we should always be prepared. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very much. God bless every single one of y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in there and listening to me rant and rave about whatever going on about my conversation. But, it is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. Make sure y'all also take advantage of that OG Network 26 promo code. OG Network 26 promo code for all your purchases of $35 and up when you go to top to bottom hair and skincare store. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, how to find it, the link to the store is right here in my channel. All you got to do is click the link, take you right to the store. Promo code OG Network 26, get you 15% off if you spend $35 or more on that wonderful candles, that hair care product, that skincare products, the deodorant, the body wash, and all the other wonderful things that they make over there. And they're American brand, and they also melanated owned if that matters to you. It don't matter to me. Well, the American part matters, and the melanated part a little bit. But y'all understand my point. We want to support each other, and we want to support those businesses that are in our country. And we also want to support those businesses that are part of our communities, if that makes sense to y'all. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I'm out of here. Peace.
Fellas, ladies, you're looking for lotions, you're looking for beard oils, but unfortunately everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and they're probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.